And welcome to the Money in the Bank preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture to look ahead to this weekend's Money in the Bank premium live event. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick to look ahead to Money in the Bank this weekend, a PLE we both really enjoy, actually.
Indeed. I'm, for once, on a WWE preview or review podcast, not going to be much of a miserable prick. I'm, put it this way, right? Looking at the lay of the land on Raw and SmackDown, I'm not particularly thrilled, encouraged by the prospect of SummerSlam and what I anticipate may be happening on that show. And we'll have to get into that because I think this will have implications on that, okay? However, Money in the Bank is always genuinely excellent.
It's fun.
It's so much fun. It's, by WWE standards, preposterously violent and chaotic. The carnage last year is unbelievable. Like, that women's ladder match last year was quite incredible. It was at once. Like, I need heightened experiences in my life. Long-time listeners and viewers will know that I cannot get on board with solid. If something in an interest area I have is solid, I'm probably not going to sanction it. I've got a wide range of interests, right? Like, I don't know, professional wrestling, football, I quite horror, music, on and on it goes.
Films
and stuff like that, you know? Like, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. When I see the face of God in art, I just don't like much looking at something else. I'd rather flit around my various things to find the next amazing thing. Like, I'm not so into one thing where it's like, I'll watch a 7 purely because it's a horror. Nah, it has to be a 10. It has to be like out of Blair Witch Project 1999, Hereditary, The Witch. It has to be a 10.
28 days later, does that qualify?
I don't think I've ever seen it, you know. But maybe
it's a very big rarity.
It's a time now as well.
A film that I've seen that you haven't.
True.
And a horror one at that.
At that, I know. I'll probably get round to it because I hear the new one is cause for excitement. But anyway, back to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I, out of wrestling, want to lose my mind. I want to, quite frankly, enter a state of frenzied bloodlust. Or I want to see something fall off the rails so I can quite laugh at it. This women's Money in the Bank ladder match last year was all of those things. It was a totally frenzied carnage, fell off the rails, but when it was good, it was also like electrifying Chelsea Green, you know? And the thing is as well.
And the right winner as well.
Indeed. Here's a very rare, don't hurt me, sacrilege corner. If you're, you know, I probably lean. In fact, no, I certainly lean more towards AEW than WWE, just for reasons that will take forever. I contend to this day that, shockingly considering AEW encourages its performance to just go all out more, it's more action-focused, it's where the best wrestle, it's almost a strange thing that the tribalism landscape exists when Levesque says, we do cinema and story, we're a movie about sport, where an almost direct opposition, Tony Khan says, with action forward where the best wrestle. You'd therefore think that AEW at this point would have mastered the art of the multi-man ladder match. WWE's got them licked.
Yeah. Money in the Bank every single year, and I see no real reason, maybe the field in the men's match isn't amazing, where this trend should like not continue. It's always an amazing, well put together match that maybe it benefits from the fact that, you know, by its own explicit direction, WWE matches throughout the year, there are exceptions obviously, tend to just follow a certain set of guidelines. They're not particularly violent. There are sort of There's exceptions, but they like to that stands out more for them.
Maybe it's that. Maybe it is a case of that, or maybe just in and of themselves, these matches are awesome, and you're getting 2 of them this Saturday. I really can't complain. I think they're awesome. I can't wait. And where are we on Saturday night, or where are WWE?
I mean, they're all right. Michael, you're at work. They're at the Intuit Dome in LA, which is, of course, as you told me beforehand, where they kicked off their Netflix shows.
Indeed, and it's terrible. I did tell you mostly I would not be miserable. There was that terrible Netflix premiere. If we were doing the ups and downs, don't want to step on the respective dicks of Simon Miller and Scott Carlson. But if I was doing the ups and downs, I would probably do 1 up and 12 downs or 1 up and 14 downs. And the 1 up was it looked impossibly state-of-the-art. It looked like the biggest and most extravagant, big-time, cutting-edge show in town. Like the Intuit Dome looked amazing. And I see no reason why that can't bleed into Money in the Bank, and it should look absolutely incredible. I mean, that's the selling point of this arena, is it not? So if you are into your WWE spectacle, as I imagine you are, you're watching this or listening to it, then I would be disappointed if this doesn't look tits the business.
Yeah, but with regards to the Dome, you're going to be into it.
Is it the Intuit Dome, or is it the...
I think you're right. I think that's what I'd say.
I'm trying to lead you on the path of a dirty joke.
Oh. Dome is a euphemism.
Intuit getting dome.
There we go.
Are you into it? Getting dome? Are you into it?
Yep.
Just have to do it, don't we?
This team's doing great. You know who really needs a head coach? No, let's get into... Actually, can I join you for a brief second in...
Sure.
Please don't hurt me. Sacrilege Corner.
Yes.
I don't think a Money in the Bank ladder match should main event this show.
Oh.
And I will explain why in due course.
Okay.
I think what should open this show is a ladder match. They normally sort of top and tail it. I've made a slight tweak. And I'd start with the men's because I agree the women's blows the men's out of the water.
Yes, the field is so much better.
It's just so much more unpredictable. Like, nothing against the workers in the men's match, but it's a clear favourite. Me and Andy literally just did the odds. I'm still astonished that people can bet on wrestling. And, obviously the clear favourite for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match is Seth Rollins. I'll just run you through the rest of the field.
Indeed.
You have El Grande Americano. Just a quick side note, unrelated to this, but Chad Gable is working Worlds Collide earlier on the day, as is Stephanie Vaquer. You also have Andrade Penta, Solo Sikoa, and L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
It feels inevitable. Do you think it would be that Seth Rollins becomes a 2-time Money in the Bank holder?
I say so, yes, but... And this applies to all the best potential wrestling matches. There will be so much chaotic, unhinged bumps here that you will just get completely summoned to put your phone away, engage with the screen, get lost in it, lose your mind to the point where you knock that rational part of your brain where you're thinking, oh, well, Seth's going to win this. You'll switch it off.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure of that.
I could make an argument, not a very good one for quite a few people in this men's match, but I could make an argument for all of them winning it.
Well, I can't. Let's do... And we'll do this for the women's as well. Process of elimination for all of them involved. So if you can give me a name, go backwards from the list on the wiki there.
Okay. Let's start with El Grande Americano.
Well, here's the thing. Chad Gable is competing for...
He's fighting for the AAA Mega Championship against
before this show.
Yes.
Okay. He could win it. And I reckon he could win it. The idea being like, Levesque, to his credit, right, usually he's quite boring. He is not averse to a big, heavy heat angle as it pertains to like an underserved market and trying to rile those fans up into, well, I have to come back to the next show because surely they can't do it again. We saw this, obviously, at Clash at the Castle in Cardiff and then Glasgow.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre lost both times. The idea now, there was a furore at the time, but there will be lots of stakes involved should or when rather, WWE do Clash at the Castle again. Is it in Paris this time?
Clash in Paris, oui.
Clash in Paris, oui. Drew McIntyre doing any match on this show has this inbuilt story and like, not another one.
Yes.
You know? Along those lines, Grande Americano, like the cultural appropriation as Heat, winning the AAA Mega Championship, might follow a similar path, thus taking El Grande Americano out of world title contention.
Mm-hmm. There is a version of events, you can see where El Grande Americano has a briefcase and he is targeting the AAA Mega Championship, for example, but I don't see it.
No.
Yeah, I think there will be a moment of panic amongst many people when, yes, Americano seems to be the only man left in the match, having taken people out with his loaded mask or whatever. He's climbing the ladder and there's no one there to stop him.
Yeah. There should be some hard stopping moments like that. I'm prepared, therefore, to rule out El Grande Americano. I will it's a good as time as any to mention this now, because the gimmick doesn't seem to be a fit for the world title picture.
No.
However, I wish I'd researched this or reminded myself before we entered the studio, but it was reported that someone somewhere had said that Levesque isn't the biggest fan of Money in the Bank. And
yes,
that is,
I saw that.
Apparent by the fact that Theory cashed in for the US title and failed. And then he's fond of wrapping up. He just wrapped up the men's on the same night with another failed cash in, McIntyre.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Correct me if I'm wrong at any step of the way. So maybe Chad Gable could lose.
WrestleVotes was the one who said
WrestleVotes. Chad Gable could lose. El Grande Americano could win Money in the Bank and then pursue the AAA Mega Championship. Mm-hmm. So it gives Levesque, a bit of a free hit to not have to tell that story, which he apparently is not a fan of, believe that or not, on Raw or SmackDown week after week after week. I'm still prepared to rule El Grande Americano out. Who's the next name on the list?
El Grande Americano, I was just looking at the odds here, it's actually probably third favourite. So we'll take the longest shot. The longest shot on the entire show is Andrade.
I will show my arse in Fenix window if Andrade wins this match. I fully believe that Andrade is in this match for more than one reason. Let's run through them. I think he's quite overrated, to be honest. But on his day, he is a thrilling worker.
He's been in a few Money in the Banks, hasn't he?
Yeah.
For this reason.
He's a thrilling worker. I think he was in a casino ladder match as well back in late 2021 in AEW, but I digress. Thrilling worker on his best day. Very much capable of performing in that fast, hard-hitting, hybrid style where he can perform dives, he can strike, he's very quick. He's just sort of born to make up the numbers in a Money in the Bank ladder match. So he's there to elevate the in-ring action floor. He could also be there because he is quite mercurial, shall we say, Andrade, never shy of the odd passive-aggressive social media post or the odd quote in an interview where if he doesn't get what he wants, he will kind of make it, not clear, but opaque. A match like this, PLE, hot crowd, loads of exposure, Van Levesque, I'm putting him in it just to appease him and to elevate the floor of the match. He's not there to win. He might not even ever challenge for a world title as long as he's in WWE. They just don't seem to see a great deal in him. So Andrade's out. Who's next?
I could pitch Andrade winning as a make good for what they've done with him so far, because it feels weird in terms of him just coming in and not being, pushed to the moon, as some people said that he should have been once he made the leap back to WWE. So there's an argument to be made that they go, all right, we haven't really done a lot with you now, but here's the Money in the Bank briefcase. We're not going to have you cash in anytime soon, but yeah, later on in the year, maybe we're not thinking of doing anything with Money in the Bank right now. We'll leave it with you, and then you can carry on doing the middling stuff that you're doing with Los Garza. I don't think it's going to happen.
I just don't see that. I just don't think they see anything like that in him. I'm actually inclined to agree. He's never, to me, shown much in the way of like megastar intangibles. They don't seem to trust him with any really meaty emotionally resonant storyline material. I had one more point to make on Andrade as well. I will say that considering that he's still somewhat motivated in the ring and on his best day, selectively, situationally brilliant, it kind of beggars belief that he wasn't given the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Shinsuke. I mean, surely that is his level, and he's not even reached that, which, again, doesn't really sort of fill me with confidence that they see him at a higher level. He's there to make the match a bit more exciting.
Solo Sikoa.
Like, he didn't get a singles match at WrestleMania. That is the biggest tell. Again, this is another one where I suspect that, like, if you are in the match graphic for Money in the Bank, it's sort of a visual cue of, oh, this wrestler must be quite good, you know, to be reductive and simple about it. The fact that he didn't have a singles match at WrestleMania and he was very, very handily defeated in, frankly, a very hurried, anticlimactic ending to the Bloodline saga. I mean, connect the dots, put two and two together, they just don't see it in him. And it's quite a steep fall off considering he headlined SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. He was a big part of, and yes, it didn't really go well for him, but a big part of the build towards the Netflix Raw premiere. I think that they are cutting bait with the idea of Solo Sikoa being a main event player. I think they've tried. I think they've realized this failed. And he's another one to make up the numbers, but him making up the numbers in a match like this, again, visual clue. Oh, Solo Sikoa's a big hit. I guess he's in a marquee PLE match, and, you know, not everyone gets on. I mean, hardly anyone gets on these short, these 4-5 match B-level pay-per-view cards, PLE cards, whatever. However, they need him at some point to further elevate Jacob Fatu. They evidently do see a lot in. So it behooves WWE to sort of put him in a match like this, just keep him in people's minds and conversations as a pushed, air quotes, act, and they can sort of play on that later as it pertains to Jacob Fatu. Not a chance in hell. I will show my arse in Fenix window. Yeah,
I think, Jacob Fatu, who had a qualifier himself, of course, he'd be the sort of person in this match where he'd be like, oh, I wouldn't put him in the match unless he's winning, because you could get what you got with LA Knight a couple of years ago, where people are like, if he doesn't win, we riot. And there's someone in the women's match we're going to get to about that, by the way.
He could be a focal part of the match in that there's a miscommunication between JC Matteo and Jacob Fatu about who helps them or how they help. That'll, you know, cause further dissension in that sort of splinter group of the new bloodline. It's all a bit NWO black and white, this. It really is.
You know my love for the bloodline, so I'm kind of into this,
yes, because I mean, it's Jacob Fatu. How could you not be?
And I think, you know, this is what I really like about Money in the Bank. Sometimes more than the Royal Rumble, because in the build to the Royal Rumble, it's all, well, anyone could win. And I mean, Jey Uso has made that conversation next year very interesting.
Which is one reason why I was broadly in favor of that decision.
But for the most part, you're like, one of 5 people could win this match, probably. And yes, there's only 6 people in the Money in the Bank matches. But speculation this time of year just runs rife. Like, I've seen people saying, here's what's going to happen at Money in the Bank. Hikuleo's going to show up and help Solo win. Or alternatively, Jacob Fatu either accidentally or deliberately costs Solo Sikoa. In reality, I don't think either of those things happen. I think the complete lack of a chance that Solo has in this match, with or without the new Bloodline's help, will further lead into Jacob Fatu going, sorry, why am I a follower of yours again?
Yeah.
Like, I've got a title, and you're just, what are you doing?
You're a bit of a loser.
Yeah, so I think, and it might be expedited. I wouldn't be surprised if they say, let's get this done and dusted by, by SummerSlam. So by SummerSlam, you've not even got the match of them, like, breaking up. It's literally Solo Sikoa going, I'm going to take that US title from you. So it's going to need further catalyst, and I think, Solo losing here is that. Next up, Penta. Slightly better odds than Solo Sikoa to win this.
Penta is there, and I don't want to be reductive about it, but again, similar to Andrade in that he's an established work rate guy in shorthand, and he is going to do an unbelievable, unhinged, off the top of a ladder Canadian Destroyer. Like Canadian Destroyer off a ladder onto a ladder bridge.
Yes.
Off a ladder and through a table, potentially. Like that spot from the first AEW Escalera de la Muerte match was unbelievable. Rinse, repeat. That's what he's in this match to do. Yeah. He's not winning. Again, it's weird though, Penta, far more so than Andrade, or failed experiment Solo Sikoa. I could see them heating him up for the Seth belt, the world heavyweight title, one that doesn't really matter as much, but they can pretend it does, you know. But I can see him, you know, he's still really over. The novelty hasn't worn off. I'm still dim on the idea of it being as amazing as a lot of people think. But if you look at, like, I don't know, his cagematch.net record or wherever you get your database from, and you look through that list of Raw matches, he's had quite a few, and I hate the word, but you know what it means, so I'm going to use bangers, or like, you know, he was one of the highlights of WrestleMania. That TV match, as much as it went awry, and he was maybe responsible for it with Chad Gable and Dragon Lee, it was one of the most pulsating WWE TV matches of the year. Like, he's not getting less over. I mean, people receive him as a second coming, and it pisses me off.
Yes.
Because he's good, not great at this stage in his career. But they might want to go with him. I would say he's an outsider. Put it this way, if he like grabs that briefcase, I'd go, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? That's fine. I don't think he's going to, but his presence in the match and how much they've put the marketing machine behind him, when he climbs that ladder, I'm not waiting for the stunt necessarily, you know?
I agree. I think he's going to have a mad spot in the match, and he's probably in there for when El Grande Americano, oh my God, there's no one left. He's climbing to the top of the ladder. Why is he pissing about? Oh, gracias! There's Penta to kill him. Yeah. But I don't see him winning. But I could, like you say, he gets a hand on that briefcase. I'll buy it on the night. Second favorite is someone who has been a previous, kind of favorite or fan favorite at least going into it, and that is L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
He is in a bit of a crossroads now. I think Hamlet and I, when we talk about him with regards to SmackDown, are kind of waiting for the turn now, because he's done he's not going to win a world title.
Yeah.
Unless he gets the briefcase here, obviously. But like, he's not going to be there going, they're like, that's who we need to face Cena next or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's done obviously all the US title stuff. Heel turn possibly in the future. Coming close yet again here feeds into that. But again, if they're not doing the Seth thing here, he's obviously the alternative there in terms of we're going a completely different direction. Again, not immediately cashing in on the night or the next night or whatever it may be, but we haven't really got an idea of what we're doing with this briefcase. This has kind of come around, and we know what we're doing with the women, but with you just hold the briefcase for 6 months, then we'll work something out nearer the time.
Yeah. No, LA Knight's in that, he's in that crossroads. There's no better word to describe it. He has reached the level that he is capable of ascending to. He's not a world champion. I mean, Jey Uso is, but I think the difference between LA Knight and Jey Uso, like, gentlemen's three on their best day guys who have got charisma, sort of crowd interaction on their side, is that yeet beats yeah, because it's really an emotional thing with Jey Uso. People actually, I still think it's overstated, and I think people were more into Jey Uso as a character when he had Roman Reigns being an arsehole to play against. But the thing and him being awarded the world title, it's on the back of an emotional response. I would argue that it's kind of evaporating the emotional side of it anyway. But I can see why Levesque went with him, where he wouldn't go with an LA Knight, because it is just a live arena hit, you know? I can't see him winning this match. I suspect he's in it because, like, you want your shows to feel loud, vibrant, wrestlers to feel like stars on your shows. Putting LA Knight in this match is just, again, it's that visual, put him in the match graphic, and it's a visual reminder that he's profiled, and you're just putting him in, you're giving him things to do so that fans still believe in him. It's like, if you put him on main event, the push dies a little bit, but you put him on in a Money in the Bank ladder match, and people still solve. It's just maintenance. A lot of people who make up the numbers in Money in the Bank, it's pure maintenance booking. They're not there to contend. Sometimes not even there to elevate the match quality. It's like Sikoa and LA Knight, it's pure maintenance. They'll need them to make somebody else look good down the line. He's not winning.
The clear favourite, though, is, of course, Seth Rollins. 11 years on from his last Money in the Bank win. And with that in mind...
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game!
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Who was in the Money in the Bank ladder match when Seth Rollins won it in 2014? Come back in time with me.
I can see out the corner of my eye your laptop, so that's why I'm not looking at you.
I'll run you through some of the stuff that happened on this card. Obviously, the Shield had gone their separate ways. And
because you'll do process of elimination there.
Well, I'll just remind you that this was a real sign of
2015.
2014,
2014, sorry.
And I'll tell you one thing right now. Roman Reigns wasn't in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the contract.
He was in a four-way world title match.
He was in the ladder match for the world title.
Right, okay.
Which was the immediate sign of we like this man more than the other two.
Yep.
So you've got, hang on. 5 to get alongside Seth.
Ambrose?
Bingo!
I'm trying to further that. 2015.
14.
Jesus Christ. Barrett?
No, dear, that's wrong.
Ziggler's always popping up.
Bingo!
Del Rio?
Ooh, he was in the...
No, dear, that's wrong.
He was in the ladder match for the world title.
So I got Rollins, Ambrose, and
Ziggler.
Cody?
No,
dear, that's wrong.
He was working as Stardust against Rybacksel.
Wonderful. God, it was the most... Oh, God, it was awful. Right.
Just to fill you in on where the women's division was during all this, Paige faced Naomi for the Divas title. It went 7 minutes, and the co-main, would you call it? Just before the main event for the world title, we had a 3-minute and 45-second match between Layla and Summer Rae with Fandango as the special guest referee.
Jesus Christ. Kofi?
Bingo!
Put him in a match like this. So Kofi, Ziggler, Seth, Dean.
I've got a clue if you want it.
Maybe in a minute. Let me just go through my memories of a Cesaro?
No, dear, that's wrong.
He was in the world title match as well.
Oh, they were pretending to push him for a while there. Luke Harper?
No, dear, that's wrong.
Rowan?
No, dear, that's wrong.
They were opening against the Usos. Titles.
Is that... that's not the awesome one. I think the awesome one was Battleground? I don't know. I think it was. The 2 out of 3 falls. God, that was great. Trying to think of, is there any early NXT call-ups? Clues, please.
These last 2 men are both previous Money in the Bank holders.
Sandow?
No, dear, that's
He
wrong.
was working Adam Rose.
Jesus Christ. Obviously not Edge. He was on his... Well, he was retired.
Mm-hmm.
Not Van Damme, no. Van Damme. 2014 Van Damme. He had some weird bang average runs for a
Just
while.
pop back in, didn't he? Yeah.
Aye. Miz.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Not on this show as far as I can see.
Well, it wouldn't have been Punk. And it wouldn't have been Kennedy. No, Brian was injured.
Might have taken him a while to unhook the briefcase.
Jack the Wagger.
Bingo!
Interesting lineup, that
Is,
Seth, Dean, and 4 other guys, basically. But yeah, he feels the obvious choice this year, doesn't he?
he's the biggest star in the match. Well, let's just edit that sentence. He is the star WWE perceives to be the biggest in the match, is what Seth Rollins is. Look, Seth Rollins, his current character, it's like a hypocrite who is turning into Roman Reigns. Bet you they think it's dead profound, like, you either die or you live long enough to become the villain. That's what's happened with Seth Rollins, having raged against Roman Reigns for all these years. Didn't even do a singles match yet. Unbelievable. So Seth is the hypocrite who's slowly transforming into everything he hated, and for whatever reason, he is sort of like, they are treating him like a Roman. That like Sammy and CM Punk are insistent that he will there's all these sort of like vague and cryptic mentions of, God, we have to put a stop to Seth because he's going to do what? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what he's going to do. Like, be really boring because that's not untrue. That is not untrue. We do need to be saved from Seth Rollins. But the idea is he's meant to be playing this. He is the future of wrestling. God, he was the past and present for what feels, well, coming up to 13 years at this point. Jesus Christ, how can he be the future? It's very much the past for me. But it's all in service, I guess, of this character being like, WWE needs him because he's not a part-timer like Roman Reigns. He's not this volatile firebrand like CM Punk who could just simply up and leave again and, you know, bring WWE's name and reputation in a disrepute by shooting on them and all the rest of it. And so I think Seth's canonical character is the nice guy in the rom-com that the women feel a little bit bad about leaving for the hot guy on the poster. That's his character. I won't go away and I won't cause trouble. You know what I mean? That's his character. It's pathetic. But as part of that character portrayal, he is playing like, oh, we're playing the long game. It's sinister. It's calculated. We have a vision for WWE, Paul Heyman and I, and, you know, we must enact it. I think the briefcase, from a character perspective, works.
Oh, I love it.
I know you love it.
I really, really do like it for Seth because he got. First of all, it's not the last we see of him in my booking tonight. If he wins this, maybe it's better if they do this just before the main event. Actually, so he literally is there with the briefcase and walks past Jey Uso as he's walking out for the main event, which we'll get to.
I know that'll be about half an hour of adverts.
Yeah,
I'm
good
not
point.
being,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a very
not
good
even
point,
being
yes.
facetious. That probably
It's a
will
very, very
be.
good point. At least walk past him backstage then, whilst the Slim Jim adverts are on or whatever.
Yes.
But I also really like, as I will get to in due course with this booking I have in my head that's taken root, I will say, in the last few days. I also really like but having Bron Breakker be the guy to carry the briefcase for him as a sign of like, look, he's also going to be a world champion. And he's you know, Paul Heyman fluttering his eyelids at Bron Breakker with a briefcase that's going to mean a world title down the road for him. Better than that guy. In the main event.
Much already.
Yeah. Seth wins, but as I mentioned, not the last we will see of him at Money in the Bank.
I will say, as tedious as I find the actual experience on a week-to-week basis, CM Punk might have something to say about Seth winning, which will inform it with drama, if nothing else. I don't want to see the blow-off, but it'll make this match, if only this match, less predictable. So fair play, I guess. I don't know. I hold WWE to a high standard with all the resources they have, and they do not hit it ever. The match will be excellent. I did say I wouldn't be miserable.
Let's get to the Women's Intercontinental Championship last chance match. It is Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. If Lynch loses, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Valkyria is champion. But if Lynch wins, then Lyra Valkyria has to raise her hand and acknowledge her as the better woman, which she will do. I think this isn't going to be a very long conversation between you and I. I think Becky Lynch wins this.
Yeah, this is the matter of fact, I guess, reductive take. A lot of time has been dedicated to this specific storyline. As those words tumble out of my mouth, I realize that a lot of time has been dedicated to Grayson Waller versus Austin Theory for some friggin' reason. Triple H likes to take it slow, right? We saw enough evidence of that, sadly, when I had to endure his WrestleMania matches for as long as I did. But if you look at the general pattern of these types of stories that are way more focus than Waller Theory, I'm being facetious to a degree, trilogy. It's WWE trilogy booking all over the place where Valkyria wins, but the finish, it's not that vague, but it's not like, what was the finish at Backlash again?
She won, but then Becky Lynch beat her up afterwards.
Yeah, so it's one of those, like, those weird, doesn't count, it's not over, that wasn't emphatic enough for me to take finishes, you know? It's SummerSlam, I expect the rubber match to happen. I expect a lot of rubber matches that I'm not necessarily doing cartwheels about to happen at SummerSlam, as I alluded to in the intro. In order for that to happen, it has to go 1-1, realistically. This is how the WWE trilogy goes. there's an exception. Pancake waffles, there's always an exception. Cody went 3-0 up against Seth Rollins to really establish him as the top babyface star in the company in 2022. But this is a last chance match, so that, it's a WWE trilogy, mate. I'm trying not to be too cynical about it, but it's going to go 1-1, and they're going to finish it off at SummerSlam alongside. It looks like there's a potential slate of rematches for SummerSlam across 2 nights. That's not going to help the recurring complaint that a lot of, cynics who watch WWE or observe it, and people who are actually into it or are brought back into it through the Paul Levesque Renaissance. It's a common refrain, isn't it, of why is Punk still feuding with Seth? Why is it the same show every single week? You must see a bit of that, even though you yourself are high on it.
I still enjoy Punk Rollins' interactions, and I don't think actually this is going to a trilogy at SummerSlam.
Do you know?
I think they have. Well, I hope what happens. Maybe you hope more than expectation, as is often the case with me. I think what happens is, yes, Becky Lynch obviously wins this match. There's no question about that. But as per the stipulation, congratulations, Becky, the better woman on the night, even if you might have cheated or whatever, or, I'll raise your hands. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The new women's IC champion, Becky. Just loving it. Yeah, that's right. Raise my hand higher, if anything. Bam. Not a fact. No. Bam. Bailey's music hits. Becky Lynch. Oh, bollocks. She's back for revenge.
I have reaped what I have sowed.
For what happened at WrestleMania. I better hightail it out of here. But wait a second. Who's got a hold of Becky Lynch's arm to stop her from running away? It's Lyra Valkyria per the stipulation.
Per the stipulation. What's my favorite stipulations in wrestling history are Hell in a Cell, the best parts. I haven't done exhaustive research on this stipulation, but every one I've seen, or like the staps within the staps.
Yeah.
So basically the big, most well-received and famous Explosion FMW matches, like Anita Hayabusa, man. Jesus Christ. That's cinema, bro. That is cinema. My favorite modern stipulation.
Fine Survivor, obviously.
Well, it's Anarchy in the Arena, quite clearly.
Yeah.
No, Anarchy in the Arena is better. Look what Dave Meltzer rated them.
He's lost his mind, hasn't he?
Lost his mind.
I think Bailey returns to set up a match.
And folks.
Look, I will always hold a place in my heart for Dave. He needs to go and watch Omega Okada 1, which I know there were other scale breakers before that, but it was Omega Okada 1 that really
merited the scale break.
Of course, it was a masterpiece, but I don't know. I just think if he doesn't watch, he's got this thing, Dave. I know this is a tangent. I've got a button for actually.
Yeah,
it's not more of the sports tangent.
More
button?
of a soccer tangent, but still.
Like he has this insistence that everything always gets better. It's like, have you looked out the window? No, it doesn't. But applying it to athleticism in sport, and it's true that as much as you have fond memories of the Arsenal Invincibles, if you're going to use, I reckon the best Man City team over the past 3 or 4 years would just run rings around them. Athletically, things do get better and all the rest of it, but it's only part of pro wrestling. There's so much is getting lost because I don't know, man. But some of the ratings he gives out week to week, it's another 4.5 star match.
It's the 4 and 4.5 that annoy me more than the 5.
Yes, same. As much as
I think because a lot of some of the 5s you're like, I'm not sure if that's a 5 if X, Y, and Z wasn't a 5. However many years ago. That's a different conversation to be had. But it's those matches there that you and I and Hamflet will say it was a good match. And then 4.5 stars. Yeah. So by that record, it is good, as good as whatever, Flair Steamboat or whatever.
It's just, I see some of these ratings. I'm thinking, what? Are we joking here? But anyway, that's.
Oh, sorry. That's the end of the Meltzer tangent. Bailey returns. That's the match they're having at SummerSlam. They probably will have
Evolution, though?
Evolution as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point.
It is a bit of a mystery what's happening on that one.
Yeah. maybe that's where they do the trilogy of Lyra and Becky. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, right, Becky versus Bayley for the IC title at SummerSlam, perhaps. Because you're right, they need big matches. And
they've got some familiar matches.
But yeah, hang on, what was it I read? Andy told me this on the news today. Yeah. I don't really understand how American odds work. Obviously, we have like the better version, where it's like 100 to 1. You bet £1, you win £100.
And you can extrapolate that. You put 2 and you get 100 back. What the hell is minus 4,000?
Well, yes. So minus is good. That's like...
I know that.
Good odds.
I've inferred that minus is good, but I still don't understand what that means. If I'm putting $10 on that, what do I get? Do you know what I mean? It's dumb.
Seth Rollins is minus 250, for example, for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. For the women's IC championship match, Becky Lynch is minus 2,000.
Yep.
So everyone is in agreement with regards to that one. But let's talk about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, because that is far more unpredictable.
This match could be awesome.
This lineup is sensational. And you can we could make an argument for the men. We struggled a bit. You can legitimately make an argument for every single one of these women winning it. There's more favourite than others, but nevertheless, it is Alexa Bliss versus someone that Sidgwick campaigned for a long time to move up from NXT to the main roster, that being Roxanne Perez. Someone who didn't spend much time in NXT, in Julia, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, and Naomi. So I mentioned this on the news, and we've talked about it a lot on podcasts with regards to the brilliant Stephanie Vaquer and her astronomical rise within WWE. In NXT, straight away, right, we'll give you the North American title. Okay, don't know what's going on with Julia or injury or whatever the mess that was. Wins the world title, gets rid of the North American, keeps retaining it, beats Jordan Grace, for example, and then randomly, surprisingly, drops it to JC Jane to free her up to come to the main roster.
NXT, if you wonder what the hell I'm talking about, bro.
Yes, but there's an argument to be made that the Rocket has been well and truly strapped to her, and she literally comes in here having barely appeared on our screens on the main roster and immediately wins the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. But the favourite, and the fan favourite as well, is Naomi. Is this Naomi's year? It surprised me somewhat, but then I thought about it and I saw people pitching this online and yeah, there's a lot of blowback if you're saying someone else.
Yeah. You know what? We'll do process of elimination, and I promise you that's not because these names fall out of my head as soon as the end of them.
Yeah, let's go longest to shortest odds. Julia is the longest odds.
I mean, Julia, we talked about this in recent weeks. She is you can't debut Lesnar and Tensai on the same night. You can't really put, I mean, things have changed now. What a bloody, bit of whiplash in terms of Commander and Vikingo, where they are respectively in 2025 compared to 2023 when they were sort of introduced on AEW TV very in quick succession. I feel almost sense of pity for Julia. She's been absolutely smoked, blown out of the water by Vaquer. The idea of you got two work rate, marketable, internationally honed women's wrestling stars turning up on the same brand in very quick succession. You're obviously going to compare them, and there is literally no comparison. Julia's stuff just looks borderline timid in the ring. And I don't know if that's knocked her confidence or what, but she was never like, she's had good matches, like really good matches, some might argue, but it was always more of she's got like model good looks, presence, and all the rest of it. Very striking, unique look as well. I just don't feel any star power coming out of her at all. I think her stuff looks flimsy. I don't know if she's been told to tone it down or what, but like I think she's in there in that match. It's more maintenance booking. I mean, she's still better than the likes of B-Fab. I wouldn't mind Michin in this. She can, maybe it's for her own.
Chelsea Green should have been in this match.
Indeed. What's going on with her?
She's got a face smashed in at the moment, but hopefully better times to come.
Anyway, Michin, she probably is thankful that she's had some history with ladder matches in NXT. Jesus Christ. Julie's just there to make up the numbers and to just another reminder. No, we still want to do something with her. Hence why she's being featured in a match like this. But, I mean, I can't see it happening. I think she's verging on bust at this point, Julia.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say, yeah, this would be a sort of make good for whatever's been going on with her. And again, I don't know what this whole thing was with the injuries and dropping the NXT title and then coming back and
return.
then just fighting for it. And like you say, being brought up alongside, not quite at the same time as Stephanie Vaquer, but being introduced around the same time.
They've shadowed each other.
Yeah, and Roxanne Perez as well, who's also in this match.
And she's on the main roster now, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. They've shadowed each other, which is so bizarre. It's like, you kind of anything. I would have kept Julia in NXT for a bit, with the idea being like...
Well, we said at the time, didn't we? Without even considering Jordan Grace and all this, we were like, right, boom, NXT title. And then when she's ready to move up to the main roster, oh, there you go, you got a ready-made replacement. It feels like they've gone, right, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer, and probably Jordan Grace quite soon as well.
They're just inviting this really unfavorable comparison at every step of Julia's run. Bad promotion, really bad promotion. She's out. Who's next?
Next is Alexa Bliss, who, again, you can make an argument for, and I really hope this doesn't happen. As much as I can appreciate what they're doing, I don't want the Wyatt Six anywhere near my Money in the Bank ladder match. And yes, you could argue that they schemed to help her alongside going after the tag gold on SmackDown.
Yeah, why do they exist? It's one of those that as soon as you put them in a wrestling context, it's like, we want tag gold. It's like horror characters.
Huskus the pig boy wants tag.
You know what I mean? It's bizarre. It's totally bizarre. I could maybe see it.
I think she's just in there to be like, look, we could have multiple times.
That's good
Money in the Bank
booking.
holders.
I don't think the booking of Alexa Bliss, well, quite frankly, it's been a total abomination for about 5 years at this point. So she's been involved in some of the worst stuff you'll ever see in your life. In your life, okay? Let's call a spade here. Yet, there are people who love her. There are people who refuse to never say die in her. She's always had this inherent star power, this like really composed, well-performed televisual appeal. So I can see why she's in this match. I think she got like, it's one of those where absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think a lot of the fact that she's been a sporadic presence on WWE TV for a long, long time now informed the Rumble pop. I'm not saying she doesn't have an inherent star power or an audience or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily as a result of the week-to-week booking why she's still kind of received as a star. I think it's legacy and absence. It's not this bobbing stuff she's doing at the minute or has been doing for years. No, I don't think she's winning, but she knows her worth.
I think Charlotte Flair might cost her because they've been having interactions on SmackDown.
Oh, God, that's so pathetic. I saw when she was talking to the doll. I was talking to the doll. Why are you talking to a doll? You're like 40 at this point, no?
Got a soft spot for Lily from our history with her.
You've got a soft spot. You don't have a soft spot for Alexa Bliss, nor do you have a soft spot for Lily the doll. Mm-hmm. You have a soft spot for the pop you got by doing the Lily bit and getting
the voice
over.
changer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same difference for you.
Yeah.
I can't see Alexa Bliss winning it. I can't.
I could see her doing like a twisted bliss off the top of a ladder, though.
I hope they don't repeat them. Remember when she hypnotized Zelina Vega?
Mm-hmm. Or she could scare someone off the top of a ladder with Lily. Maybe Lily tips the ladder over. Is that anything?
I sure hope not. Actually, I'd like to laugh at the Fed sometimes. I'm sorry. I sure hope so.
Stephanie Vaquer.
Well, this is where it gets interesting because they've put the rocket to her. She's just been amazing. You run out of ways to convey just how impressive she has been thus far in her journey in WWE, Titan Sports, as it used to be called.
It is, it is a big game. And it is Arsenal, I think.
It's Arsenal, I think.
Win Money in the Bank.
That's how you say, right, Vaquer, it's one of those where she loses nothing by losing, but at this point, maybe why not? Tell you one thing that they'd be stupid not to do, and they've already kind of suggested they're going to do it by their interaction on Raw. The love too much. They're big. All right, people are selling on the outside of the ring. It's time for the wrestlers with history, or it's time for the wrestlers who people want to see have a match singles down the line. They do this in the Rumble all the time. It drives me insane. They'll do it, and it'll drive me insane. the Rhea Ripley, Vaquer coming together.
Oh my God.
They should build a huge early moment around that.
I think they merit climb. Oh, it's you, Rhea Ripley. Oh, it's you, Stephanie Vaquer. Climb back down. Let's have a proper fight on the floor.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, they're two massive stars. People are like enamored with both of them. I can see that happening. Absolutely. Can I see?
I don't know what happens to the internet if she does what's it called Devil's Kiss to Rhea Ripley. People, there's going to be hospitalizations.
There's cum everywhere. People are going to get the gush.
Jim Ross. Oh my God. Come.
Yeah. Very good. One of those where she wins it. I'd be kind of shocked if she doesn't, considering the level of commitment. Maybe it's a bit too early and there's no rush. You can give someone a proper push, but without the rush. But she's in the maybe pile. She's the first maybe.
Let's talk Rhea. It's slightly out of order because Rhea's second favourite, but let's talk Rhea whilst we're on the topic.
Yeah. Who was the current champion again?
Tiffany?
Yeah. I don't think they've done that yet, have they?
No, that's been alluded to.
Yeah, they need something big. And thing is, right, this is where the SummerSlam whinge is going to factor in.
Sorry,
right?
I'm on the wrong show. EO.
Yes, EO.
Yes.
Well,
and the draft, you can always pitch.
There's a draft, and it's like it's a briefcase. It kind of gives you a license. Not that they care about the sanctity of the brand split, but if you look at SummerSlam and just how molasses, frigate, iceberg slow Levesque's week-to-week booking is, Punk Rollins, you'd think it has to end at SummerSlam. It has to end at a definitive point. Surely SummerSlam, get rid of that. Depending on what you want to be the main event, Cody and Cena could go again. Mm-hmm. It's already like WrestleMania Backlash. But in the summer, Becky Lyra might still happen. You might see yet another, Judgment Day, because it was Finn and Dom in the same four-way match.
Yeah.
Another match in which Finn and Dom are at odds. Like, very, very familiar. Very, very familiar looking SummerSlam. And I'm only looking at the tea leaves and what they've done. They need something new and fresh. Maybe Rhea Tiffany could be something. I don't know.
I don't think Rhea wins, though.
Nah. Again, like,
she's one of those people who does not need the briefcase.
Doesn't need the briefcase. Maintenance booking. Great wrestler on a day. Very few and far between. I mean, that WrestleMania, until Anarchy in the Arena, that WrestleMania triple threat was my joint match of the year alongside Kenny versus Gabe Kidd.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
So this field is, I don't think much of Julia, or Alexa Bliss, but Vaquer and Rhea Ripley alone, their interactions, what they can bring with this could be awesome.
In a place I'd love to be, sandwiched in between Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Vaquer, in the odds, this is Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, she's good at eating. She's like a little speed demon dynamo on her best day again. I don't think she's always class. But I will say, in a match like this, I think you're going to see the best of her. My chief complaint about Roxanne Perez is, and she did more of this in NXT, because she's had the indie background, the wealth of experience compared to her peers. I think she was always presented as, but you're pretty good at wrestling, like the actual fundamentals compared to the rest. Go and show that off in literally every single match you do. I thought there was a bit much of that, but there's not going to be much catch in a Money in the Bank match. So you're going to see her best attributes at the fore here, and like good little heel, even though miscast. Like, she has grasped that which Liv Morgan has grasped, where if you're an undersized heel and you're really irritating, it's pretty cathartic watching you eat shit. So she's going to take one of the big bumps here, I suspect. Outside chance to win the briefcase. That'll legitimize her claim to enter the Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. In the meantime,
Liv's face will be a picture when she shows
Liv's
up on
face
Monday.
will be a picture with it. If Liv beats Io at some point, and then like Liv is the champion, and then they'll love this Judgment Day stuff. They'll never end doing dissension within the Judgment Day ever.
It's like, I'm Bloodline, he's Judgment Day.
Yeah. It's never going to end. So if they can arrange the pieces down the line to like, if they can do something that will allow for weekly Judgment Day dissension until you are dead, Paul Levesque will find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Now that I'm talking myself into it, I would not be surprised if Perez wins the whole thing.
Yeah, a couple of ideas about this one. Like you say, the Liv Morgan side of things, the sort of weird mirroring of it all, like you say. The briefcase being opened at one point. But, oh, my God, are you cashing in? Just full of chicken tendies for Dominic Mysterio. And the idea of just needling Liv at one point. Liv walks into the clubhouse. She's been off doing a tag match with Raquel Rodriguez just before she gets there. Roxanne's like, I'm just going to go to the loo or play 2K or whatever. Dom, you wouldn't mind holding my briefcase, would you? Liv comes in, why are you holding her briefcase? Just all that sort of thing.
That kind of stuff.
But the favourite, and someone who could have a personalised briefcase, which gets a big thumbs up from me, is Naomi, quite
Caution
rightly.
tape. Sorry,
Yes,
caution tape
all that
briefcase.
Quite rightly, I think her heel work has been far exceeding what I was anticipating. I think let's just put on one side here, Naomi's heel turn and subsequent heel run, disregarding the results necessarily. Over here, John Cena's heel turn.
Oh, Naomi smokes him.
It's night and day.
Kicking his ass.
And she needs something because she's, lost all the big ones against Jade Cargill. And the fascination now with her and Jade is diminishing, but you've got Bianca Belair there as well, who's just on the road to coming back. And I think it'd be a huge boost for a great character that Naomi's done here.
She's developed I can understand why WWE fans are really into this. I think some of it has been genuinely strong on its own terms. I've seen promos where I'm thinking, but yeah, that's quite a step above what I've seen throughout her entire career, quite frankly. Her character is, at this point, kind of a paranoid stalker. How would you describe it? You watch more SmackDown than me.
She is, I think I like...
She went to Bianca Belair's house.
Yeah, I liked the bit where she was still desperate to, supposedly desperate to have a friendship or a tag team with Bianca Belair on SmackDown last week, I think it was. And the moment that door was shut, she was like, what if I put you in a wheelchair like your mother? I like that edge to her. I like the fact, she just cries at the drop of a hat sort of thing. Everyone better proceed with caution around her. And, whether you want to... It's one of those things where I'll get to my further booking in a second. For whatever reason, I love the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm one of the very few things me and Papa H disagree on. And I never understand why they're like, well, we've got to burn through one straight away. No, sit with it for as long. I like that hanging over and the storylines you can get off it rather than just, well, you got the briefcase, so you can lose matches all the time for some reason like they used to do. But I feel like if Naomi wins it, Naomi's going to hold it for longer than a week or 2 weeks or whatever. But who knows? They'd love to do women's cash-ins on the same night for some reason.
The thing with Naomi and the current character arc and this new developments and the ongoing stuff with Bianca Belair, I don't know if they've developed a very soapy WWE thing. I don't think the briefcase is necessarily required for it. They can go full camp with this soap opera. You can actually see the next home invasion. It's not something I would book, but Naomi could try and steal. If I can't have your life or your friendship, I'll take everything away from you bit by bit. She tries to come on to Montez Ford. All these daft wrestling staples of the spurned lover, wreaking havoc. You don't need a briefcase for that. They've got a soap opera storyline in play that doesn't need the briefcase or the title, you know what I mean?
Having said that, I can also see them giving her the briefcase and fairly swiftly because
they start getting a braid in her hair and mimicking her, There's loads of stuff they can do with where I think they might be going with it that the briefcase doesn't need.
I could see them giving her the briefcase, and because there isn't really an obvious direction right now for Tiffany Stratton, she's in a match or whatever, and Naomi cashes in and wins, and then you can have that really intriguing feud between Jade and Bianca, who both want to get their hands on her, and that can feed into this long term. Maybe that's where Bianca's heel turn comes, perhaps. I don't know, but yeah, I would be absolutely fine with almost everyone winning this women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but I like Naomi the most.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about what
I'm going to say Perez just for posterity.
Okay. Let's talk about what I'm pitching to be the main event of the evening. We don't know the running order, but I would not be surprised it's a match with John Cena and Cody Rhodes in it. It is this tag match. John Cena, as Andy noted on the news today, in the odds makers' names, John Cena and Paul Logan taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. It's basically a coin flip for the odds makers.
Yeah. No, I think this is going to be quite dramatic. I mean, the actual work and technique is going to be sloppy jalopy, son of a bitch, City Jones. And I think at this point, even WWE fans like Cena's absolutely washed. I think people have we've talked about this to death about Jey Uso. Like, even his strongest soldiers are not saying,
he's come on leaps and bounds.
He's amazing. I don't know where you get it from. Like, everyone who likes Jey Uso, at least online, is like, oh yeah. I mean, he's not the best guy in the world, but who cares? He's got charisma. Like, no one's fighting for him as a match guy. Cody is excellent. Excellent. I think when it's all said and done, he'll get remembered as like a really strong in-ring worker, as opposed to this revolutionary, bold, game-changing babyface. Like a savior of a pro wrestling industry that was so dull. I mean, look at that Money in the Bank 2014 card we've just ran through there. I mean, that's probably still happening, if not for Cody. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't do a thing with John Cena. Washed. I mean, the good news, he must smell really nice. Because that guy is washed.
Good.
Logan Paul versus Jey Uso was just rushed crap, really. Saturday night's main event. John Cena versus Cody at WrestleMania was dull crap, laborious crap. That just turned into just finish a spam slop cliche. Literally the only good component for my action forward sensibilities anyway is Cody and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
It's the best dynamic.
I think Logan did really help John Cena as a heel, by the way, on last Fridays. I think they're doing something on tonight, so I should mention that. Obviously, go home angle. But yeah, it's just such a weird visual of the guy for so many years within WWE, the good guy, stood there being like, Logan Paul's all right,
I guess, I'm I put myself in somebody else's shoes, If you actually looked at John Cena and went, but he like him, what a great baby face. This might be surreal or, whatever. I always thought he was a massive twat. Just unlikable, unfunny goof. Like, the worst of the Attitude Era, right? If you had to say, by the way, the missus forgot her phone charger. So she's going to come downstairs and catch you watching something on wrestling and watch it for 5 minutes. Right? The absolute worst of the Attitude Era, repugnant stuff. Would I prefer... I'm just watching this. I'm so sorry. Or that John Cena Star Wars promo.
Oh, boy.
Because she'll be like, are you 3 years old? Did I marry a 3-year-old? Am I a nonce? Because, God damn it, this is pretty incriminating evidence on this television screen right here. So I've always just thought he was the goddamn worst, and maybe I've been vindicated after all these years with John Cena. Hot. I'm going to be nice. Loud, probably. Hot in the building. There'll be some nice pretty lights and beams everywhere, all around to distract you from Jey Uso and John Cena having an exchange in the ring. What the hell does that look like? It'll look like ass.
You don't get any complaints from me, by the way.
So loud,
I agree.
State-of-the-art building. Cody and Logan Paul will be all right. What's the other nice thing I was going to say? I don't necessarily know who wins, because logic would dictate that you can pin Logan Paul.
Cody pins Logan is the
and that sort of weird proxy wrestling way. Oh, that means he gets to Cena at SummerSlam. Because they haven't done the direction for Cody Rhodes yet. You know what I mean? Afterwards. Did it beat Cody twice in 1 year? I don't know.
Not for me. Not for me, Jeff.
You could pin Jey Uso, but then they've already done the Logan Paul match. My God, I don't need to see that again. They could injure Jey Uso mid-match, storyline injure. like giving him an out where he loses this match, and he's got Gunther on Monday, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah, I really like that element of this booking, of them hammering home the fact, Gunther obviously just outright said it, of like, you're a good guy, you, Jay. Stupid champion.
Yeah.
Stop coming to save your mates. Stop tagging with Cody, as much as I'm going to really love the press conference afterwards, if it's anything like what they did before with some few libations. And that's going to feed into the general fear around him losing that title back to Gunther. I still don't think that happens on Monday, but we'll talk about that on our Raw preview.
Yeah, it's just funny. I just don't know why they're doing it just to beat Gunther twice, but we will save it. We will save it. So the match is going to stink. It's probably going to go real long as well. I'm here to predict it. I'm here to preview it. So my prediction is Cena and Logan Paul go over Jey Uso, if for no other reason than to go, oh God, Jey Uso's feeling like a loser, or Jey Uso could be suffering a storyline injury, informing the drama of Monday's Raw. And at the same time, Cody goes to the back of the line and gets involved in some kind of side quest because it's probably too early for him to go back and be the champion. Then again, this run has sucked so bad, and it's really been detrimental to WWE's, I would say, like, ailing reputation is this hot, well-booked promotion, right? Maybe it just behooves them to go, I'm sorry, Johnny, you'll have to tell a different story because what you're doing is absolutely awful. It's pony.
Yeah, I think get that world title off John Cena by SummerSlam at the absolute latest for me. And then we can just do the babyface turn and just have a nice few months, whatever. My booking is fairly straight.
You've been building this up, so...
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, but I would really like it to happen, as will be revealed in a few seconds. Cody pins Logan. Yeah, obvious. Yeah, you can pin Logan. He's going to go away for a bit again now, I would assume anyway. Maybe he'll do something at SummerSlam. I'm not that arsed, to be honest, anymore. Cody pins Logan. Jay is not necessarily completely injured, but he's struggling through the match to further add intrigue to the match with Gunther on Monday. But before we get there, 1, 2, 3, yay! The babyface have won to close out the night. They're having a good time. They're going to have some libations in the old Cody bus before they have the post-match press conference that we're all looking forward to. Except in the midst of, I don't know, let's say, all right, Jey Uso's up on the turnbuckle, into it, Dome's going wild. Cody's doing the same, but he jumps down, turns around, wham! Belt shot by John Cena, who's like pissed off, obviously, that losing the match or whatever. Still hates Cody Rhodes, still there to ruin wrestling. You can't even have your nice moment celebrating afterwards. Jey Uso turns around. What are you doing that to my mate for? Right? He gets into it with...
Jey Uso.
He gets into it with John Cena. Gets better of it, if anything. All right? Kicks John Cena's ass. Logan's been completely taken out of the picture here, regardless. So maybe super kick, whatever. You know what? Bollocks. Whilst I'm here, whilst we're all having a good time, I'll treat everyone to an Uso splash on John Cena. Bollocks to him. Up I go. Little Jey Uso, climb it ropes. Up I go. I don't know what's happened. It's been a long time. Jumps off the top. But don't Uso splash Jey Uso, because he gets speared out of the air by Braun Breaker. And here comes Seth Rollins with his briefcase.
Oh.
We all know what's about to happen. I'm already going, what bloody happens on Monday night with Gunther? Anyway, we'll cover that in a second. He is going to cash in. Cody's been taken out by Bronson Reed and what have you. And John Cena's like, well, funny. And not going after my belt, so you knock yourself out, pal. And then they're going to ring the bell and do the cash in. But before they can do that, the tribal chief returns.
Oh!
Roman Reigns is back. He stops all this from happening. He's got this weird now alliance with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He does. War games.
Yeah. And that's basically he stops the cash-in doesn't happen, and the three of them stand tall to have a nice ending to the Money in the Bank. And you can maybe revisit the cash-in again on Monday night amongst the Gunther Jey Uso match. Jey is still struggling from as you say, what happened here, what happened on Raw, what happened post-match with the beatdown. I don't know. I At the moment I saw someone talk about Roman Reigns coming back, I was like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want in my life. What do you think to that?
I think it's very smartly arranged, and the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that there are so many links between characters and plot lines and continuity that if he's in fact well enough to return, he just would be unbearable about it. Him being Braun Amboy, Michael Hamflett. In other words, I'd be happy if my friend was happy, I guess.
What do you think the odds are on Roman coming back?
I don't know.
Because you said I agree.
He's felt checked out for a while. Sorry.
But you'll need, they need the big stars back for SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's as good, genuinely a really good bit of like Leveckian booking that. Sounds like a backhanded compliment. I think you've correctly determined what Levesque would do. To be honest, he's not that bad at all at booking. In fact, he's actually great at booking a big angle on a pay-per-view. Like the WrestleMania 40 cash-in stuff. Tremendous. Some of the logic gaps with the Punk Drew stuff I wasn't into, but he can make a big PLE angle feel massive. And I think that's captured his sort of style.
And then long term, this isn't necessarily what I think is going to happen again. Long term, you go forward with Roman and Seth. Maybe Seth does win the title eventually, and Roman's the one who challenged him for it, let's say at SummerSlam. Yeah. And you can transition Punk over to be the guy who takes the belt off John Cena. Just get it off him.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know your thoughts on that wild bit of fantasy booking and who you think is going to leave with the Money in the Bank briefcases at Money in the Bank in the comments section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Well, actually, they can follow both of us. Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Hopefully, if he's well enough, the three of us will be back on Monday to review Money in the Bank. But for now, it's been the Money in the Bank preview. My thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.